Men are giving up on dating. And one of the reasons why is because of women's expectations. One of the main reasons why women have such unrealistic expectations is because of social media, and let me tell you why. So women are often fueled by what they see on social media. It seems like everywhere you look online, there are images of perfect couples, luxury, exotic vacation, lavish gifts, and this is very, very toxic because this is not even real.
Wow, that's fantastic work, man. You have the wisdom of a 6,000 or 7,000-year-old man. That's fantastic. We don't have to fill up the whole blackboard after all.
Well, that's because none of it is real. Modern women live in a fantasy world where they think they're the main character of some sort of piece of romantic fiction. It's not just the social media, it's the life in general. Every single aspect of a modern woman's life fills them with an unwarranted boost to their ego. These broads consume so much garbage that they legitimately think that they're strong and independent, yet also powerless to the overwhelming power of men. They think that they're absolutely perfect, but that men need to accept them for who they are. And they are convinced that they are the most ravishing creature to ever walk that spinning blue orb of theirs, and yet they still need to take 3 hours out of their lives every day to plaster on as much makeup as they can. And yet they still need to use filters when they record their nonsense videos. They live a life of massive contradictions, and social media just reinforces it all. And men don't want the hassle of dealing with a woman like that. It's too much work, and if we're being honest here, no self-respecting man wants that much stress in his life in exchange for a pittance at the absolute most.
It's just social media. And these things create an unrealistic standard for women because they expect that from a partner. And men feel like they need to be wealthy or constantly shower women with gifts to be able to measure up. And it's a lot of pressure. It can leave men thinking that they'll never be able to meet these expectations. And as a result, men are just giving up on dating because they feel like they can compete against those fantasy relationships that we see online. And I think it's very, very dangerous because it can lead to self-esteem issues as men feel like they're never gonna be good enough, and this can result in anxiety, depression. So yeah, it's a very, very concerning problem.
So close and yet so far.
All right, now that is impressive. How can it be that you can get so close to making a point and then at the 0 hour, when you almost get to the moment where you realize the true problem, you do a complete 180 and still find a way to make men part of it? I gotta tell you, that's some first-rate mental gymnastics right there. It's not the lack of feeling good enough for you. It's the knowledge that you are not good enough for us. Your lifestyle demands of a man does not make us feel like we can't compete. There's no point in competing. The men you want don't compete. They collect dames like dudes with actual lives collect Magic the Gathering decks. Your quote-unquote expectations don't give us depression or anxiety. It's actually quite the opposite. It makes us laugh because you're making demands that you're in no position to make. If you feel like you're entitled to the most expensive and lavish lifestyle as humanly possible, then you've already proven to us that you're not looking for a man. You're looking for money, and we're the ones who decide how we're going to spend ours. So there's no point in even bothering. Unlike Magic the Gathering cards, there's no chance in hell for any return on an investment with you.
You can be rich in friends or family or love, but the only thing that matters is being rich in money.
People get really angry when you talk about this, but the average woman in the United States performs $167,000 worth of unpaid labor per year. I didn't make this up. There are tons of studies on this. The one I'm talking about was published in the New York Times. And by the way, this applies to women who work full-time as well as women who stay home full-time. I personally work, but I imagine that that figure is even larger for women that stay home. I posted about this just this past week, and the comment section was nothing short of a dumpster fire. And that got me wondering why it is that people get so mad when you establish that unpaid labor has a lot of economic value.
Give me some money. Give me some money.
I hate to break it to you, sister, but the reason why that comment section of yours was a dumpster fire is because it's a garbage argument that completely neglects any contributions or work a man brings into a relationship. Whenever you complain about unpaid labor, all you're saying is that you think the man is lazy. You refuse to recognize any positive aspects that man brings into your life. And you're saying the only reason why the relationship is working at all is because you sometimes do the dishes and push a button to do laundry. And by saying this few hours of daily work is worth $167,000 is just your less than subtle way of saying that the man needs to make more money in order to hire people so you don't have to work anymore. That way you can finally be happy with things. Now I'm going to do the most mature thing I can and lay down an Uno reverse card here. Let's say that you are the primary breadwinner and that man is doing all of that pesky unpaid labor. You'd be even more furious with him because men are supposed to be the providers, which leads to more resentment because when he does the household chores, that work is easy in comparison to what you do at work all day. So the unpaid labor argument holds no weight. You've already set the man up for failure no matter what he does.
Money is really often held over women's heads in relationships. And I think when you establish that women add $167,000 per year on top of any income that they might bring in, the power dynamics start to shift because oftentimes the income being brought in is less than that. And my theory is that that switch ruffles a lot of feathers. But I don't know, what do you guys think?
So get off your act, let's do some math.
All right, woman, enough is enough. Let's just go ahead and address this once and for all. I'm going to assume the number you obtained was by adding up the annual salaries of higher paid professionals like chefs, maids, and nannies. So if that's the case, let's go ahead and add up all of that unpaid labor the man brings into a relationship. The man is pretty much providing round-the-clock physical protection for you. The average bodyguard makes about 70 grand a year. When the two of you go out together, you expect him to drive, and the average chauffeur makes about 50 grand a year as well. Whenever something is broken, you expect the man to fix it, and your average handyman makes about 40 grand a year. And let's not forget all of the lawn mowing and outdoor work that he's obligated to do, which is another 40 grand right there. So when we add all of that up, you're looking at $200,000 worth of unpaid labor that man does for you on a yearly basis, and that's not mentioning all of the cooking, cleaning, and child rearing and other duties that he's bringing to the table as well. So with that being said, I'm going to kindly suggest you either shut up about the unpaid labor and go do your share of the work, or break out your checkbook and give that man his proper due.
So you can see that is, I'm no economist, but that is a load of dough.
Show me the most ghetto thing you got in your crib. I'm gonna start.
Give me cancer now, God!
Well, that is indeed a bold statement. Now, considering your profession, I honestly think you're giving yourself a little bit too much credit here, sweetheart. Sure, being an internet spice miner doesn't exactly reek of high society, but I wouldn't exactly call it ghetto. At least those Avenue strollers are charging more than $3 for their services. Now, I'd say that you're a bit closer to one of those homeless people that stink up subway stations in exchange for spare change, but then again, I don't know. Those guys at least have enough common sense to not blow all of their money on expensive hair care products, but to be fair, you do cause significantly more societal decay than those folks do, and you're able to do it with just a camera and a willingness to sell your dignity to the lowest bidder, and that is almost impressive. So I think maybe it's about high time we just end it all and just start over, because it's just getting ridiculous at this point.
Okay, God! Let me have it!
This is for all my girly pops. It never fails that when I do a video about women not going 50-50 with their man, there is a handful of women clutching their pearls and offended about what I'm saying, because they're all like, well, I want to be his equal, and I don't want to owe him anything, blah, blah, blah. Ironically, but not really, I never hear that type of rhetoric from women in like their mid-30s and up, because like they know.
Old.
Old?
Old.
All right, Gertrude, I have no idea how many girly pops are actually talking about going 50-50. If anything, 50-50 is just a massive insult to the modern woman. At least that's what they talk about all the time. The expectation a modern woman has for a man is that he pays for everything, and the woman just sits around and assumes she looks pretty. When women get over the age of 30, they're done talking about 50-50 and ramp up the delusion to 11 by demanding an equal partnership. Now, an equal partnership on the conservative side is around 85-15, with the woman having final say in all of the decisions, with the option to still humiliate her man. And that's because you justify this because, okay, I'm gonna be honest here, Gertrude. I honestly don't really know how you can actually justify your thinking in regards to this. But then again, I need to apologize, Gertrude, because I keep forgetting. I actually have a functioning brain, and I don't mean to brag, but I actually use it for useful things.
They know. They either learned it the hard way or they learned it the easy way, but they know that there is an intangible and priceless value that you provide to that man just by being in his life. You are making his life better just by existing in it. These are not the crazy, archaic ramblings from a bitter old divorced broad. They're statistics that support exactly what I'm saying. So when you insist on being financially equal, you are completely overlooking what you are automatically bringing intrinsically, divinely powerful as a woman.
Nothing! Absolutely nothing! Stupid! You're so stupid!
Oh, Gertrude, you archaic, bitter old divorced broad. Answer me this. If you were bringing in something that was intrinsically and divinely powerful as a woman, then why are you an archaic, bitter old divorced broad? You would think that if what you brought to the table was so intrinsically powerful, then that man would do everything he could to keep you. But that wasn't the case, now was it, Gertrude? And that's because you're overestimating your value and gambling with good faith that you clearly do not have. If a man is supposed to provide for you, you must provide for them. That's why it's called a relationship and not indentured servitude. And you need to do more than just take up space in his home. You must provide peace, kindness, and the occasional home-cooked meal, as well as some bedroom fun that you haven't weaponized against him for petty reasons. You kind of forgot that part when you were married, didn't you, Gertrude? Well, I can't blame you. You are a TikTok relationship expert after all.
Should everyone financially contribute something? Yeah, of course. I never say that someone should provide 100%, but should you be paying an equal half? Fuck no. Look, I want everyone to live their best life. And doing that is not paying a man for the privilege of him sticking around.
Bullshit! Bullshit! Well, that's just it, isn't it, Gertrude? That's exactly what you're talking about. You are talking about the man paying for the privilege of the woman to stick around. That's the issue here. You're saying that the man should be paying for the majority of everything while you chip in by wasting money on useless trinkets, knickknacks, and throw pillows. I mean, you said it yourself. How you contribute to a relationship is your mere existence. And you back this up by an imaginary statistic that you glossed over on that box of bran that you eat by yourself every morning. And all the man has to do is submit to your will, pay the rent, buy the food, treat you like a millionaire's daughter, and make sure that he's consistently abiding by the ever-changing list of rules to keep your delusional fantasy life a reality. And it's clear, well, to me at least, that's not what happened in your previous marriage, Gertrude. And that's because your husband expected you to actually contribute something more than just a bad attitude and a face that's more makeup than flesh and bone. And that's gonna do it for today's video, gentlemen and gents. And as always, if you find that my particular brand of comedy is bringing you to the brink of laughter, then why don't you scroll on down and click that like and subscribe button, ring the notification bell, leave a few comments, and make sure to get out there and share this video so we can get together and give the good old-fashioned middle finger to the YouTube algorithm. Thank you so much for checking out the new video, and until next time, peace out, homies.